Hello, this is Linda Vettrus-Nichols, and do I have an amazing person to introduce to you? Lisa Gable. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks, Linda. Great to see you today.
Thank you. All right, great to see you and great to be seen. All right, so people are innately good. All right, well, yes, I do agree. And that is one of the things that comes easy to me is to see people almost as their finished product, if you will. Like I see who maybe they can be is not really the words I'm looking for, but I just see right through anything that they're throwing off that isn't even like appropriate or whatever. And I really see kind of that finished product. How about you? How do you feel about that?
I do too. We see people in their good days and we see them in their bad days. And we make assumptions about who they are as a result of how they exhibit their personality at a moment in time. But
Right?
the reality is, we don't know what's going on in that person's life. We really don't. And so, if you start with the assumption that the person with whom you're dealing is a good person,
Yeah.
perhaps the way in which they are reacting to a situation isn't what you would want. But what you hope is that you can come to know them better and isolate out that one incident and really have the opportunity to appreciate who they truly are and that whole person. And I think that we have a tendency to be very judgmental. And especially today in social media and politics, I find us judging people, and yet
Yeah.
you don't really know who that person is. I mean, you're only seeing one tiny aspect of their life. There's
Yeah.
so much more to them.
Right. And then there's the media. Oh man, right? And so the Meghan and Harry thing, and then they came out, being able to tell their story from their perspective. And yeah, it's like stay open because there's like so many lies being thrown our way these days. Like Judy Bloom, there's a documentary on Judy Bloom that was on Amazon Prime. We watched that the other night. It was so good. Yeah, awesome. Okay, and so how you help other people defines your impact on the world. Excellent. And and the choice is yours, right? Like we have way more control than sometimes we give ourselves credit for. Does that
We
make sense?
do. We can make the choice to respond or not respond, right? That's our
Yeah.
choice. We can make the choice to accelerate something or hit the pause button. We
Yeah.
don't always have to be running down the road, knocking things out of the way. We're not football players, and we're not in a scrum all the time. And we need to make choices. If your instincts, just goes back to what you and I talked about before, if your instincts are telling you that there's something off, hit the pause button, hit the
Yeah,
pause button,
absolutely. Because
make
usually
the
it is.
choice to try and really dig in and understand the underlying cause of what's truly going on,
Yeah.
and also take the opportunity to understand the individual and make the choice that you will accept them as who they are. My father was just amazing at this. He never went after the new shiny pennies. He would look at people and he would really evaluate that special thing about that person, even
Yeah.
though they could have been the most annoying person on the face of the earth because of some type of way that they had a personal interaction. And yet he could find that specialness in them. And I think that's what I learned by listening to him is, how do you find that unique special kernel of that individual and then help bring that out of them, and so that together you can explore it.
Ooh, I love that. You hear about the kernel of truth, like kernel in the person. I love that. Well, it's the only way to survive a psychiatric day treatment center with kids kindergarten through fifth grade. My background's special ed, so I worked with violent kids for about 3.5 years. Yeah, you definitely, just like your dad, that develops that skill big time, or there is no survival. I did get a black eye or two out of that situation.
Absolutely. And we talk a lot now. I think we're starting to understand neurodivergent kids and kids that are on the spectrum. Again, I had a friend whose son is on the spectrum, and he was in a school that the teachers, it was a religious school, and the teachers weren't very accepting of him. They kept saying that it was within his control, and the reality
Yeah.
is it wasn't in his control. And yet I find that boy to be one of the sweetest individuals that we have come over to our house. He loves my husband, and so he always wants to have special time with Mr. Gable. And we let him choose where he's going to sit by sending him pictures of the yard and the pool and the guest house so that he can make a decision before he walks in where
Nice.
he's going to be comfortable. And so I think we're starting to understand that neurodivergency is part of what we need to adapt to as individuals. And again, not judge, but accept someone for may have a different way of expressing who they are.
We're all neurodivergent. There's something with all of us, you know? So that, yeah, we're all on a spectrum, and it's important to get that figured out for ourselves, what really makes us tick and where we are the most comfortable, and then letting others know. And sometimes a person doesn't have that ability to let others know. So that's such an important thing. Yeah, my friend, well, the worst part about the psychiatric daydream center is they would send us once in a while a child with autism, and it's like, oh my gosh, like that's the last place you want them. Because so here's the story. My friend was working with a class from little kids with autism, and she had the flip. They sent her a child with emotional behavior disorder, and this kid would go around and flip everybody's desk but his own. And one of the kids in her room copied him, and he flipped everybody's desk and his own. Like, it doesn't take a lot of assessment. All right, so focus on the positive. Yes.
Yeah, I would, it's managing people teaches you a lot. And I was always stunned how someone would immediately assume their colleague was out to get them.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have these conversations. I'd be like, really, there's nothing about that person that you can find anything positive to say about them or their work. Could we together identify a place where you might agree with them? But it's really been noticeable in the last 5 years. I have to tell you, after years, it's been, I've been in the workforce almost 40 years. And after managing people for such a long period of time, how quick to judge people were, or quick to cut off a colleague. And you don't have that opportunity. Somebody is paying you to do a job. You've got to show up and you've got to work together. If
Right?
you are at school and you're in the playground or you're on the sports team, you don't
Yeah.
get to say, well, I don't like that person, so I'm not working with them.
I know, right? Yeah, absolutely. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.